Okay, we're diving into a whole new era for how businesses operate, both in the workplace and in the marketplace. It's an era that's completely driven by data, prediction, and, a much deeper understanding of what makes people tick. The old rules, they're out. The ability to predict loyalty, well, that's the new key to winning. Let's get into it.
First things first, let's talk about the stakes here, because they are massive. According to Gallup, disengaged employees are costing the global economy about $1.9 trillion in lost productivity. To put that into perspective, that is bigger than the entire economy of most countries on Earth. So yeah, this isn't just some HR buzzword. It's a huge economic problem that's hitting every company's bottom line.
And that leads us to the big central question that every leader is wrestling with right now. Why are my best people, I'm talking about both my employees and my customers, why are they walking out the door? For years, right, we've tried to answer this with exit interviews and data that's always looking backward. But what if you could know before they even decided to leave?
To really get a sense of this challenge, just look at this number. Gallup's data shows that only 23% of people around the world feel engaged at work. That means a mind-blowing 77% are either just, punching the clock or are actively disengaged. This isn't just a small issue. It's actually the normal default state for most of the workforce.
But here's the good news. We are at a major turning point. We are finally moving away from all that reactive guesswork and stepping into a new world of proactive, predictive strategies. And this is the fundamental shift that's separating the most successful companies from everyone else.
So let's break it down. Think about the old way versus the new way. The old playbook was all about annual surveys, gut feelings, and old school stats that just couldn't keep up. The new way, it's proactive. It uses AI and machine learning to find these little predictive signals hidden in everyday data to tell you what's coming next.
And the engine powering all of this is predictive analytics. Look, in simple terms, it's all about using the data you already have to spot patterns and predict what's going to happen. It's about figuring out the probability of someone leaving, which lets you step in before it's too late.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's start with customers. It turns out that decoding customer loyalty isn't just about good service anymore. It's this really powerful mix of hard math and human empathy.
Now, here's a key idea. Not all customer churn is created equal. In what we'd call a contractual setup, like a streaming service, churn is obvious. Someone clicks cancel. But in a non-contractual world, like a retail store, customers just vanish. They stop showing up. Predicting that silent churn, that's the real challenge. And that's exactly where AI is a game changer.
And check this out. Here's another critical piece of the puzzle. We usually think churn is voluntary, right? That a customer actively chooses to leave. But the data shows that up to 40% of all churn is actually involuntary. We're talking about things like an expired credit card or a failed payment. It's not that they're unhappy, it's just operational friction. This is the low-hanging fruit that these predictive models can help you fix almost overnight.
So, what kind of data are we talking about? Well, a classic, super powerful framework is called the RFM model. It looks at three simple but really insightful signals. Recency, how recently did they buy something? Frequency, how often do they buy? And monetary value, how much do they spend? Since past behavior is one of the best predictors of future behavior, just these three things alone can give you a surprisingly accurate forecast of who's likely to stick around.
Okay, so that's the customer side. Now let's pivot and look at the other side of this equation, our employees. It turns out the exact same predictive thinking that works for customers is now being used to write a whole new playbook for employee retention.
Get this. Research shows that a whopping 42% of all employee turnover is actually considered preventable. Let that sink in. That means nearly half of the people who quit didn't have to. That points to a massive opportunity for companies that are willing to actually listen to what their data is telling them.
And the AI retention tools we have today are incredibly powerful. They're doing way more than just sending out surveys. They're using predictive analytics to see who's a flight risk. They're analyzing sentiment in emails and messages. They're even automatically mapping out career paths and flagging skill gaps for people, all of it happening in real time.
And hey, this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. It is happening right now. You've got companies like WorkHuman using AI to understand company culture through recognition data. Lattice is diving deep into performance analytics. And Workday is using its enormous data sets to forecast workforce needs. Each one is tackling this retention puzzle from a different, really smart, data-driven angle.
So here's the big takeaway. What we're seeing is this powerful synthesis, this coming together of ideas. The strategies for keeping your customers happy and the strategies for keeping your employees happy,
They're merging around the same core principles.
Which brings us to the new engagement equation. And it's pretty simple, really. It's not about choosing people or technology. It's about combining the stuff that only humans can do, our empathy, our creativity, with smart software that can see patterns on a scale that our brains just never could.
This quote from a recent industry analysis just nails it. The businesses that are going to win in the next few years will be the ones that stop relying on just intuition and start being guided by intelligence. They're going to be the ones predicting needs and fixing problems before they even happen, building loyalty with a kind of precision we could only dream of before.
So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In this new world of engagement, is your organization set up to predict the future, or is it still stuck just reacting to the past? Because honestly, the answer to that question is going to define your success in 2026 and for a long time after that. Thanks for tuning in.